home buyer needs to know at HGTV.com.
A secret compartment hidden in the walls seemed suspicious. What was going on in there? The shocking answer involved a long-forgotten bookie and a racehorse named Seabiscuit. Did something criminal go on inside this Southern California home? Christy Romero and her husband Jimmy never suspected a thing.
When we first saw the house, we really didn't know anything about it except how old it was, that it was built in 1915.
The Romeros fell in love with its craftsmanship.
We were blown away by the fact that so much of the architectural details are original and that had never been touched. The woodwork is original, never been painted. The light fixtures are original, never changed out.
Christy loved the front office with its separate entrance, but never imagined what it was used for.
This was an area where doctors and lawyers and such lived. And at that time, they would often have their own office in the house. So this was not uncommon to have a private entrance into an office.
There didn't seem to be any cause for suspicion.
First time we walked into the house, the furniture was still here. We didn't know what lurked in the office until the previous owners moved out.
But there was one detail of the office that was, well, different.
The first time I saw the jockeys on horses going all the way around the room, I thought, oh, well, you know, the guy who lived here was probably into playing the horses. This was his office, and some guys had dead animals up on the wall. He had jockeys on horses.
And the day the Romeros moved in, they were left with a shocking surprise. A secret cubby with small compartments.
I don't think we ever would have realized that this was here if the previous owner hadn't left it open for us, and they told us about it too.
The sellers also told Christy about a hidden button on the bookshelf that opened the cubby. Very sneaky.
I thought, wow, this is really cool. What a great thing to have in a house.
But it's also a strange thing. Who put it there and what were they up to? There were rumors about a man who owned the house in the 1930s.
I think it was the realtor who told us that they thought that he was a bookie, and that is the local legend, shall we say.
And when Christy's husband went to the basement to install a second phone line, it seemed like it might be more than just a legend. Someone had installed multiple phone lines decades ago.
So there must have been at least a dozen, if not more, telephones in the office. If he was a bookie, you know, sure, he would have needed a lot of phones.
Christy did some research and learned that a man named Leonard Daigle and his wife Elsie moved here in 1930.
He was a fine, upstanding accountant for the Fluor Corporation.
But it seems Daigle may have had another gig on the side, an illegal off-track betting joint right here in Christy's office.
I can just see him sitting here at the desk with the phones everywhere and ringing one, holding up to one ear, then picking up another one, holding it up to his other ear, and then, uh-oh, someone's coming through the door, better hide the betting slips. Don't want anybody to be suspicious.
Suddenly, that secret wall panel made a lot of sense.
I think that Leonard probably stashed his betting slips back there when the authorities may have been coming through the door, wondering what was going on.
Leonard lived here during the Depression, which was the era for horse racing, especially for one horse who ran at Santa Anita, the local racetrack.
I think he probably bet on Seabiscuit at Santa Anita because that's when Seabiscuit was running, was in the 1930s. So I don't doubt that Leonard placed bets on Seabiscuit and won a tidy sum if he did.
Even though what Daigle was doing behind closed doors was against the law, Christy doesn't think he was ever caught.
There were lots of illegal things going on in the 30s in this area.
And the Romeros aren't put off by the fact that some shady dealings might have taken place right in their own home.
It just makes us love it all the more. We just love the history of it.
Still ahead.